Alright, quick update on Ethereum. So there's a ton of bearish indicators in the lower time frames. We're going to be starting off with the market structure in the higher time frames, and then we'll go and move over into the lower time frames. It looks like, okay, I was about to say it looks like we're about to get a bearish momentum flip over on the MACD, and just like that, we did it. So let's start off higher time frames and then we'll work our way down. We can start off talking about the fact that, just like we've been calling for the last couple of videos, every single time quite recently that we've been coming into these daily EMAs, we've been getting battered down, and battered down. And every time we do this, we get yielded with another lower low and another lower high. So, you know, we can zoom out, and yes, we did have a major flip of it here. This was a very, very quick fake out, came back for the back test, failed it, and ever since then, bang, every single time, just like clockwork, you get rejected from these EMA ribbons, rejected. You either make a lower low or a lower high, and in this period in time, I think we're getting ready for both. We've already solidified this lower high. It looks like we're running out of momentum. The RSI is heading down, and yes, this is the daily time frame. It looks bearish enough on the daily time frame, but let's zoom out. What do we have when we draw our Fibonacci's from the market cycle low to the high? Ignore all this data back here. This is just from videos when I was comparing the bear market lows on Bitcoin and other altcoins. Nonetheless, these two 786 Fibonacci's, 1,100 and 1,180, these are the two most important levels that Ethereum absolutely needed to hold. And you can see we're currently lollygagging just underneath the first 786 Fibonacci. If we do move below this 786, which in my opinion, we're literally getting ready for it now, we're going to have another 6.5% move to the downside in the short term. But then this is where it gets shaky. We would have, by that point, if we do slip below 1,100 once again, and especially if we close a weekly candle body close below the 786, we're going to be below the 786 Fibonacci. I mean, I feel like that's enough said. Previously, when you look at your bull market runs, it does not hold the 786. You know, you can go back to Bitcoin and other altcoins. It is not normal for a cryptocurrency to hold the 786 in the bear market. So with that being said, you know, this is going to be the nail in the coffin. Once the 786 is taken out, you are going to start majorly capitulating to the downside. I have also noticed this is very reminiscent of a bear flag on the weekly time frame. If we switch it over to the daily, it seems a little bit less short, but what you will notice is no matter how you kind of draw this, we have broken down from this bear flag at this period in time. So let's extrapolate the price target from the daily bear flag. Where will this take us down to? This will take us to $580, which is very close to my personal price target of around $505 to $480 for Ethereum. This is where I think it's going to bottom in the bear market. So we went a tiny bit up since my last video. Nonetheless, all we've done is what we talked about. We came into the 4-hourly EMAs, we got rejected, and now we're moving back down. So what do I think is going to be happening for Ethereum in the higher time frames? I think we're going to be moving down another 60% to round about $500. What do I think is happening in the lower time frames? I think at least 1,100 is on the table in the next week. And with that, if we do break 1,100, we're going to have a massive capitulation. So what are the lower time frames saying about the likelihood of this breakdown to 1,100? Well, if we start off, let's start off on the lower time frames, and we will work our way up. Squeeze Mom on the hourly time frame, this is my favorite momentum indicator, is starting to head back down after having once again another lower high. So really not looking good. It looks like we're getting ready for a major move. The MACD, just like I said at the start of this video, is starting to print red bars. We have also had a bearish flip on the hourly, and this is definitely going to carry us down to 1,100, which once again is around about a 6% drop. The OBV on balance volume massively heading down. 4-hourly time frame, I talked about this before, but the OBV is having a rounding top and looks like it wants to flush out to the downside. MACD has been bearish for a very long period of time. We're starting to get more momentum stepping in over on the MACD as we are massively heading down. Now, the MACD, it's still, believe it or not, we are still in the overbought territory because we are above the heart line of this. So, for example, where we are at this moment in time would be, according to the MACD, where we were round about this moment in time, where we were starting a breakdown from 1,800, and this drove us all the way down to $900. So, you know, I'm definitely not saying that we're going to have an exact replica of what we had before. I'm simply saying, looking at previous trends, when this is happening, this is not good. Squeeze 1 4-hourly time frame also heading down. All the momentum indicators look pretty dire right now. daily time frame, the MACD is still in a bullish state, but nonetheless, I think this is going to start moving back down to the downside, especially if we get continuation coming in the markets. It's just definitely not going to look good, in my opinion. Once again, as well, the OBV is constantly making lower lows and lower highs, and it looks like it wants to massively move back down to the downside. And the squeeze mom, believe it or not, is trying to head up, and this is more of a macro indicator because this measures the momentum using things like, moving averages. Where are you in terms of the EMA ribbons? Where are you in terms of your major support and trend lines? So once you start breaking below those major trend lines, major levels of support, major fibs, and the fact that we came up on the daily time frame, and we've now started to solidify this breakdown from the EMA ribbons, this is definitely going to allow the squeeze mom to once again start to trickle back down to the downside before bulls even have a chance of stepping back in to save the market. That is all I've got today for Ethereum. I did also just want to show you Bitcoin and the stock market quickly. I know this is probably where a lot of people are going to switch off, but the fact of the matter is, why is Ethereum dumping? It's because Bitcoin's dumping. Bitcoin has come up into the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, made a rounding top, and now it's heading down. Why is Bitcoin heading down? Because the stock market is taking a massive plunge. We talked about this in my past couple of videos. Momentum is stepping back in for the stock market. We're printing a red weekly candle. Normally after we pump into a dead cat bounce and have a red weekly follow-up, this is when you start to head back down. So the SPY, stock market, NASDAQ, no matter what you're looking at, all of these look like they want to break down. So how is the dollar doing? The dollar is heading up on a massive rampage right now. If I clear up the chart very quickly, you can see we're tearing up no matter no matter whether you're looking at Japanese or Heikin-Ashi candles. As always, it's just not looking good. Once again, I know a lot of people probably turn off when I start talking about the stock market and the greater markets, but nonetheless, all of these are very important. We can't just look at ETH USD and be able to, predict everything that's going to happen. We need to look at how Bitcoin's doing, how the greater markets are doing, SPY, DXY, all of that good stuff. With all that being said, all of them are looking pretty dire right now, and subsequently, I do think this move down to 1,100 is not only an inevitability, I do not think this is going to be a major pit stop. I think if anything, we're going to trickle down to it, maybe spend a day or two trying to hold it, and then boom, we're probably going to head back down to the lows at 940. I'm definitely not saying we're going to come right down to my macro price target of $500. I'm absolutely not saying that. I do think we're going to break down, probably do something like this, form another bearish flag, and at that point down here, a lot of people will be getting out of bed as well, but I do not think that Ethereum is going to have its bottom above sub $600. So I would definitely look to be picking up some ETH myself down here. Once again, if you're new to the channel, first of all, warm welcome. I'm just looking at the chart subjectively. It looks bearish. This is where I plan to accumulate. I'm a trader. I like buying cheap. And, subsequently, I would very much welcome a $500 Ethereum so I can DCA. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what I've been waiting for months now, while I've been sitting on the sidelines. And I'm finally starting to get excited with these lower price targets while everyone is panicking. So all I've got, as always, cowboy out. Peace.